Hi, this video deals with the subject of how to deal with stressful situations. If you want more advice on how to combat chronic stress, I've put together an ebook full of useful tips, so please click the link in the description for this video to check it out.
Let's look at the barriers we put up and how we can prevent ourselves from becoming stressful and to become healthy and getting rid of our anxiety. Blocking behaviors, keeping your stress alive. There are 3 obsessive behaviors that you are likely to be engaging in that impede your healing process and stop you from enjoying life. Recognizing these barriers is the first step toward getting rid of some of the problems that happen when you're too stressed. The first is obsessive negativity. When you're obsessively negative, it means that you have a tendency toward looking at all the things you don't like about people, places, situations, and things in your life. Is your cup half full or half empty? I believe it's half full, and you can too. If your internal voice is telling you things like, you can't do this, or no one understands, or nothing ever works, you're sending yourself negative signals. You may be doing this unconsciously, so you need to tune into this voice. It could be holding you back, and knowing what it's like to view life from a positive lens and enjoy the beauty in yourself and people around you. There's a whole world out there for you with happiness and positive thinking. Then you have obsessive perfectionism. When you engage in obsessive perfectionism, you are centered on trying to do everything, just so, to the point of driving yourself into an anxious state of being. You may find yourself making statements such as, I have to do this right or I'll be a failure, or I'm not precise, people will be mad at me and they won't like me anymore. Again, this behavior may be totally under the threshold of your awareness, but it interferes greatly with your ability to enjoy things without feeling uptight and stressed. Finally, there's obsessive analysis. When you're obsessed about analyzing things, you might find yourself wanting to rehash a task or an issue over and over again. For instance, you might find yourself making statements such as, I need to look this over, study it, and know it inside out, or else I can't relax. Or if I relax and let things go without looking them over repeatedly, things go wrong. While analytical thinking is an excellent trait, if it's done in excess, you never can get to stop and smell the roses because you're too busy trying to analyze everything and everyone around you. Gaining insight into this type of behavior is one of the most important keys to letting go of stress and getting complete power over your anxiety. If you find yourself engaged in any of the above blocking behaviors, there are 2 things you can do to help yourself stop. First, ask the people you know, love, and trust, am I negative about things? Do I complain a lot? And am I difficult to be around? This may be hard for you to listen to, as the truth sometimes hurts, but the insight you'll get from others' assessment of you is invaluable. You'll know precisely how others see you. Accept their comments as helpful information, and you'll gain insight about yourself. Second, keep a journal to write down and establish patterns of when you are using blocking behaviors. Even if you're not thrilled with the idea of writing, you can make little entries into a notebook or journal each day. The great part is you'll begin to see patterns in your behavior that reveal exactly what you're doing to prevent yourself from curing your anxiety. We'll give you some great stress-busting techniques later in this book, but you need to recognize these blockages first so you can move into the healing stage and conquer your stress and anxiety. Many people think that stress and anxiety is the same thing, and this couldn't be further from the truth. Stress or anxiety? Contrary to popular belief, there is a difference between stress and anxiety. Stress comes from the pressure we feel in life as we are pushed by work or any other task that puts undue pressure on our minds and body. Adrenaline is released, extended stay of the hormones causes depression, a rise in the blood pressure, and other negative changes and effects. One of these negative effects is anxiety. With anxiety, fear overcomes all emotions accompanied by worrying about apprehension, making a person a recluse and full of jitters. Other symptoms are chest pains, dizziness, and shortness of breath, and panic attacks. Stress is caused by something happening in our life now. Anxiety, stress that continues after the stressor is gone. Stress can come from any situation or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, nervous, or even anxious. What is stressful to one person may not be stressful to another. Anxiety is a feeling of apprehension or fear and is almost always accompanied by feelings of impending doom. The source of this uneasiness is not always known or recognized, which can add to the distress that you feel. Stress is the way our bodies and minds react to something which upsets our normal balance in life. An example of stress is the response we feel when we're frightened or threatened. During stressful events, our adrenaline glands release adrenaline, a hormone which activates our body's defense mechanisms, causing our hearts to pound, blood pressure to rise, muscles to tense, and the pupils in our eyes to dilate. A principal indication of increased stress is an escalation in your pulse rate. However, a normal pulse rate doesn't necessarily mean that you aren't stressed. Constant aches and pains, palpitations, anxiety, chronic fatigue, crying, over or under eating, frequent infections, and a decrease in your sexual desires are signs that indicate that you might be under stress. Of course, every time we're under stress, we do not react to such an extreme, and we are not always under such great duress or fear every time we are confronted with a stressful situation. Some people are more susceptible than others to stress. For some, even ordinary daily decisions seem insurmountable. Deciding what to have for dinner or what to buy at the store is a seemingly monumental dilemma for them. On the other hand, there are those people who seem to thrive under stress by becoming highly productive, being driven by the force of pressure. Research shows that women who have children have higher levels of stress-related hormones in their blood than women without children. This does not mean that women without children don't experience stress. Absolutely not. It means that women without children may not experience stress as often or to the same degree with which women with children have. This means for women with children, it's particularly important to schedule time for yourself. You'll be in a better frame of mind to help your children and meet the daily challenge of being a parent once your stress level is reduced. Anxiety, on the other hand, is a feeling of unease. Everybody experiences it when faced with stressful situations. For example, before an exam or an interview, or during worrying times such as an illness. It's normal to feel anxious when facing something difficult or dangerous, and mild anxiety can be a positive and useful experience. However, for many people, anxiety interferes with normal life. Excessive anxiety is often associated with other psychiatric conditions such as depression. Anxiety is considered abnormal when it is very prolonged or severe. It happens in the absence of a stressful event, or it's interfering with everyday activities such as going to work.
Thanks for listening. As I said earlier, if you want more advice on how to combat chronic stress, my ebook is crammed full of useful tips, so please click the link in the description for this video to check it out.